second. It's joining now. You fart, Peggy.
That would have been picked up. Okay, cool. Awesome. Hey, I hope everyone is doing well. We'll just hang out for a little bit, probably another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll get cranking in for this evening.
Hey, guys.
Pez is online.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Hello. I reckon we just get started. What do you reckon?
Get started.
Let's do it.
Sweet.
All right. Hey, everyone. I hope you can hear, see me, and are at home safe, just like we are here at Atkins Health Head Office, keeping Matt well and truly away from me. Cool. So basically what I want to do is just kind of give you a little bit of a rundown on some things that we're going to do this evening. So one of the main parts of this evening is actually right back at the end of tonight, and that is actually our Q&A. So I want to introduce the lovely Sam. Come on in, Sam. Say hello.
Hi, everyone.
So this is Sam, our lovely marketing manager. She's actually been the one that's probably been chatting to you on Instagram, chatting to you on Facebook, answering all your questions, and is the background to actually making tonight happen. So thanks very much for that, Sam. She's actually going to be on another computer that we've got over here on the side, and she's going to be monitoring this Facebook post for you guys to be throwing the questions at her, either by comment or direct message if you don't want to, it to go public. Sam is going to assess basically all those questions that you throw at us throughout this discussion, pick her favorite 5 for us to go live with the answers tonight. However, our promise to you is that we will answer every single question that you guys throw at us, no matter how weird, in the next few days. So we want to make sure that you get as much value out of tonight as humanly possible. So please, please, please throw us any questions that you may have as we go forward. Awesome. So before we get started, I want to introduce you to the amazing gentleman that is next to me. This is Matthew, or Matt Turns. He is an accredited exercise physiologist and also exercise scientist. That is a mouthful. We will go through what that means in just a moment. But he is also the GM / general manager of Atkins Health. He is the big man behind it all. He was the 3rd ever team member, including myself, so only one other, that joined Atkins Health and has been with us for 5.5 years, doing amazing things with not only you guys as our clients, but also with the team from a management perspective. He is also the Parkinson's disease EP maestro.
Cool. Thanks, Toby. Obviously on my left here is the beautiful Toby Atkins. Toby is our CEO, our founder of Atkins Health. Atkins Health has been around for 7 amazing years and a continuing journey at the same time. Toby is an accredited exercise physiologist and exercise scientist as well. And before we kind of get into everything, the first thing I kind of want to have a look at on the big whiteboard here is our vision. This is our vision that Toby, myself, and our team are constantly reflecting on and striving for in the future as well. And basically with that is through innovation to revolutionize health. And where everything comes from tonight and moving forward as well, we're always going back to that vision. So yeah, thanks, Toby.
So pretty much what that means to us is actually a lot to it. So there could just be words thrown up on the board, but I wanted to kind of give you the depth and breadth of what that means to us as a company. So pretty much the innovation word means just that. We want to innovate. We don't want to be like everyone else. We don't want to follow in everybody else's footsteps, because in our opinion, they're actually not doing a great job. We believe the fitness industry, the health industry, and the medical industry need a massive shakeup, because when push comes to shove, we're not giving people the results that they are asking for. So that's where that word comes from. We want to be the leaders in that, right? And from that, we want to revolutionize health. So we actually want people to follow in our footsteps. We want them to look at what we do and copy our metrics and our ways of being, because that means that in general, over time, we're actually going to end up with an amazing healthcare, an amazing fitness, and an amazing medical industry. And we really look forward to being at the forefront of all of that. So what I want to go through now is a little bit about what we're actually going to cover here tonight. So we've talked about who we are. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in regards to exercise physiology and what that actually is in a moment. Still, keep waiting. What we're actually here for tonight. So we're going to talk about the problem. So we talk about the fact that the fitness industry, the health industry, and the medical industry isn't doing a great job, but we need to clarify that for you. We need to bring to your attention why it is not actually doing a great job. So we're going to talk to you about that problem. Then we're obviously going to give you the solution. So we've been doing this for a very long time, and much like a lot of other, a lot of other people in our industry, we are tearing everything that we do apart and making sure that we are giving you the results that you're after. And if we're not, we're figuring it out and we're creating a new and innovative way of treating and doing what we do best. So that is the solution. We've come up with a few little dot points that I don't want to tell you too much about now, because we'll bring that up over later when we're actually talking about the solution.
So when we're looking at it, the first big one is who we are. Obviously, we have a combined team when it comes to what we're discussing tonight. One is around our team of the personal trainers, and the second is around our exercise physiologists. Exercise physiology is one of those terms that is becoming more popular, which is super, super exciting. But just to kind of clarify that with everyone as well, is that we are quite similar when it comes to a personal trainer, and we have that tertiary background as a physiotherapist, but we're not from that hands-on side of it. We specialize in exercise prescription, and we work with a range of different population groups, working from chronic disease, injury and rehabilitation, and then our athletic population as well. We work with a variety of different groups when it comes to our apparently healthy pop, in regards to general fitness, weight loss, and we cover all different aspects, but we're specifically coming from exercise prescription. Now, coming down to it, the first big thing is the problem. The problem for us we look at is not just for me with the clients that I work with around Queensland, interstate, online, or for our home visits. It was with our team, with all of our practitioners, and looking at all of the research. And when it comes down to it, it comes down to 4 big areas when it comes to the actual problem. When we have that initial assessment and we actually take those objective measurements, is actually looking at, okay, what are the goals that the client is looking for? And then what happens, the problem that happens with it is that people then conduct a program, and then they're not actually testing and measuring to see if they actually are getting their results. That goal that they start with, it then goes down a different tangent, a different avenue, and that goal and those results don't actually get reflected upon. And that's where a lot of people lose it. The second aspect that comes with that, and it's quite connected with the results, is the accountability. Being accountable for actually achieving those results. How many days a week are they training? How, over a 6-week period, over a 4-week block, how many times are they doing that? I'm going to train here, I'm going to train there, but they're not actually accountable for that frequency and that consistency for actually achieving those results. The third one around that is the reason of why I'm training. Now, the constant thing is to improve my health, to get generally fit. But at the end of the day, the reasons that our team members, our practitioners are constantly asking is why. Why are we wanting to exercise? Why is this goal? Why is getting this result so important? Is it because I want to be able to spend more time with the kids when I'm playing cricket with them or when I'm kicking the soccer ball and that? Is it more that I need to be fit for my workplace with my manual handling? Having those specific reasons of why I'm actually doing what I'm doing. And the last one, which you can kind of break up into 2 different areas, is time and place. Now, the first one with place is the big reason of what we're talking about tonight is COVID-19 and health. But basically, I just want to wipe that COVID-19 away. And Toby will talk about that a little bit in the next bit. But the big thing around place there is that a lot of the times we're always going, okay, well, if I need to exercise, if I need to train, it has to be at a gym. Now, by all means, our team members, our clinics, we're associated with gyms and we bloody love them. But at the end of the day, it's not the only place that we can do our exercise and where we can train. At the moment with our isolation, we're going to be at home and we're having to exercise more. And we want to basically take that out of the equation. It doesn't matter where you are, what environment you're in. that you can be accountable to be focusing on your results for your reasons for your exercise session. The second one around it is time, and that's a big one for me at the same time, is that it can be quite difficult depending if you're a shift worker, if you're looking after your family. When are you going to take into account those times of day to do your exercise sessions? And when it comes down to it, when we're speaking with our team members, our clients, we utilize that and we make our clients accountable to find those perfect times to be able to do our training sessions as well.
So it's really interesting that we talk a lot about the time and the place kind of side of things that Matt was kind of discussing now, especially, again, like you mentioned, in the situation that we find ourselves in with COVID-19. The one thing that I like to do in everything that I do is I actually like to zoom out. A lot of other people, they like to zoom in and get really nitty gritty on the specifics. But the thing that I've found that's helped me a lot with becoming a really great exercise physiologist, trainer, or someone who looks after someone's health is I like to generalize things, pull back and look at the actual big picture. And the truth of the matter is that weights or gyms, essentially all the equipment in those facilities are adding to gravity. Well, the most part anyway. You've got the cables and the bands and all that kind of stuff. We can tear my reasoning apart. But the honest truth is weights are there to make gravity more effective on you. And the really cool thing is that if you get innovative and constructive, and instead of focusing in on the actual exercise itself and start to take a step back again and look at the result that you're actually looking for, the muscles that are involved in that movement that you're trying to create, we can get really, really innovative and create some weird and wonderful things that sometimes we even feel more difficult and actually get more benefit out of than what we do in a gym.
Yeah.
So again, I just want to reiterate, and Matt is 100% on track. We love the gym. We love practicing out of the gym. But what we are saying is that we are business as usual. We're treating clients just as we has before. And we're actually getting some feedback from clients that are loving the online spectrum more so than even when they were in clinic. So that really excites us because of obviously the big one that we're going to talk about later, which is the system. It's how it is that we, as professionals, with a striving company here on the Gold Coast, we've now, I think we got 15 team members across the board, from admin right the way through to marketing managers, CFOs, GMs, all that kind of jazz, all the way down to practitioners. Sorry?
Locations,
everything.
Hospitals.
We're not even confined by location. And that's a really exciting part. We can see anyone and everyone in Australia and actually over the world, depending on your time zone. We're not waking up too early. Awesome. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give myself a bit of room, talk about a solution. So the big one, the burning question, what is it that we're actually going to do to make sure that we are nailing all these problems and actually giving people the results that they're coming to us for, or the reasons that they're going to the gyms in the first place, or down in the park, or in their lounge room right now? So what we have is a study that we've internally conducted. I'm putting 18 months up here, but I guarantee it's been longer than that. And we are consistently going back to the data that Matt was talking about earlier and deconstructing it, tearing it apart, going, why does this practitioner get such great results over here and we didn't over here, and bringing it all together to create this solution to the problem that will actually, we can pretty much guarantee that you'll get results as long as you follow it, what it is that we are suggesting you do. And the cool part about this is it's actually really simple and very logical. It comes down to the four most important things for you to remember. And the crazy part is, the more we've looked at this, the more we've realized that this doesn't actually only affect your physical health and well-being, but it can actually be a set of instructions, a guideline for you to gain success in just about anything you do. I use this in business itself. So without further ado, the four most important things, and it is logical. Number one, consistency. It's all well and good to have great intentions, but if you don't keep up with it and make sure that you are still doing it week on, week out, or following the plan and the program that you've created, and keeping to that consistency, the ball rolling over and over, you're not going to get the goals that you want to achieve, or you're not going to achieve the goals that you have set for yourself. It's just not possible. doing one exercise session isn't going to turn you into Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? It's just not going to happen. So it's really, really important. And we'll talk to you about how we can ensure that later. Compliance. So compliance is also crazy important. If you come up with an exercise program, bloody stick to it. What's the point of creating a program if you're not going to follow it? The amount of people that rock up into Matt's office because he comes and whinges to me about it is people come and say, I just want you to create for me the best program known to man to make my chest look massive, right?
Just like mine.
And the answer is it's not possible. You can't do that because the best exercise program would probably be something like Dwayne Johnson did, where he ate, slept, and slept 3 times a day. Is that possible for you to do? Oh, okay, probably now, bloody COVID. But normally, in normal situations, that's not practical and it's just not achievable. So what is perfect for you is incredibly individualized. What may work for me might be hopeless from that because he might be working a shitload more than me. Excuse my French. Cut that one out. The next one to talk about is obviously technique and progression. So technique is crazy important. So the way that we make sure that we enable ourselves to get the results is to do the movement correctly. This is a term that is thrown around a hell of a lot in the fitness industry. And I'm really killing myself to say this, but it's thrown around in a terrible way. It's like, do the right technique. You got to do the right technique. And half the people don't even know what they're doing or what they're talking about, right? They just got big because they nailed the consistency and compliance, but really have no idea on what muscle groups they're using and how those muscle groups are designed to move. That is incredibly important. And that's why it's number 3. Because we need to make sure that whatever our goals are matches the muscle that we're wanting to use, and not only the muscle we're trying to use, but the way we're trying to use it. Okay? If you want to be a marathon runner, yeah, you're going to use your calves, for instance, right? If you want to be a bodybuilder, you're going to use your calves to show up on stage, right? Are you going to do the same type of training? No, you're going to do very different. So the technique is incredibly, incredibly important. And last but not least, and the one honestly most people forget, is progression, okay? So progression is incredibly important. What that means is if you came to me today and I got all the information I needed to make sure that this was going to be nailed, all these problems were going to be solved, and I was going to hit every single one of the other 4, the program I create for you today is probably not going to be 100% perfect for you 6, 8, 9, whatever weeks time. So it's incredibly important that whatever we're doing, we're progressing and becoming harder and harder at. It might be the same exercises, but more weight. It might be a similar weight, but a harder way of doing the movement. It might be a completely new program altogether. But progression is incredibly important if you want to continue to challenge your body and get growth.
Now, the exciting part with all of this that Toby's just discussing right now, is specifically around that 18-month period, which has been longer than that as well, is our analysis and our results that we get. Now, so often or not, as a client, you go up to a personal trainer, you go up to an exercise physiologist, any person that specializes with exercise, you say, I want to lose weight. I want to get stronger. And they say, yep, I do that all the time. I specialize with that area. 6 weeks down the track, you're still not hitting the results that you want. Now, the exciting part with all of this is that all of our clients that come in to see us is that within that initial assessment, we're taking it detailed objective measures. And it doesn't matter what pathway that our clients are going down, that within a 6-week period, we do retesting with them. Now, our clients stay on with us continually, but every 6 weeks, we're still testing them and we're collecting all of that data. We collect all that data out of all of our locations with all of our clients, and we're able to actually define how many clients that we're getting our results in, over what conditions, what injuries, what goals that they're focusing on, how successful Atkins Health is as a whole, and how each of the practitioners specialize in different areas. And all of that data is extrapolated. We have graphs on absolutely everything as well. So at the end of the day, if you're coming in that you want to focus on just simply improving your general fitness, we have our specialists that can work with that. If you're wanting to focus on weight management, if it's going to be focusing on just improving your strength, getting over an Achilles tendon injury, we have the particular specialist programs and the team members that are going to be perfect to be able to utilize for that as well.
That's awesome. So basically what I want to do is that is most of the educational component of what we're going to go through tonight. So now it is the big reveal, so to speak, on how it is that we're going to make sure that we get this for you guys. So this is the solution, the system that we put in place to make this all happen. So the cool thing is if you can't see these boards, because we're very well aware that the lighting and stuff isn't perfect for what's on the whiteboard, we'll bring the video closer when we're finished and all the Q&A, so you can kind of get a bit more of a sneak preview. Yeah. And we'll post some photos up online for the review. Even if you've missed parts of the video, it's all going to be posted up online, so don't be too stressed over that. Cool. Sam, can you give us a hand to make the big reveal?
Sure can.
Feel like, what's that show called? The Price is Right?
Price is Right now.
Yeah. And there it is. Cool. All right. So the system. Basically, we've, I don't know, again, if you guys can see that, but we're going to run through this. I'll move it right the way forward and come stand over here. So got our social distancing stuff still happening. Yeah. Cool. So the system, right. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to step through one by one those 4 things we talked about in earlier, and how it is that this program basically delivers on each of those areas, and the secret sauce essentially on how we're going to do this. We'll then flip it over and it gives you all the details and the mumbo jumbo of exactly how it is and what it is you get and all that kind of stuff. That's a sales pitch that I'm not really too good at. So I just want to talk to you about what it is that we're delivering to you and the value that we can bring. So the system, we've actually named it at the moment, again, with the theme of COVID-19. It's not written up here, but it is Atkins Health at Safe Space. Funnily enough, that means that you can do it anywhere in the comfort of your own home. And we're delivering to you the 7 years worth of experience that we've been doing in clinic, actually over the phone and internet. So you can expect the same results, the same kind of programming, the same attention, and everything like that in this system. So first and foremost, I'm going to talk about consistency and compliance and head it over to the big Matt to talk about the rest. So consistency, how it is do we make sure that we are talking to someone over in Western Australia and making sure they're doing what they're doing? Well, we're going to personally contact you. It's really that simple. So every week, once a week or bi-weekly, we're actually going to call you or video call you, okay? Preferably video calling, but at the very least, we will be making a phone call to you. Yes, that means that there's an actual person that's going to contact you, and that actual person is a trainer or exercise physiologist specifically to look after you. The same person every time, same person you speak to in your 45-minute initial consult, and the same person who creates all your programs. So that person is going to be literally, actually your online personal training partner, trainer, whatever you want to call it. Compliance. So how do we make sure that we deliver to you the best thing to help you make sure that it's compliant to your lifestyle, your everyday, and everything like that? Well, we, again, have an actual person looking after you and assessing all of your actual needs. This is not generic. There is no part of this that is generic. We don't have generic programs. We have a list of exercise that can be torn to shreds, made new, completely constructed for you, literally as an individual. The great news is we've partnered with Health Designed to be able to use this specially designed app that no one else actually on the market apart from myself, the team, and the other co-founder of that company is able to use. So it's unique to us in that respect as well, which is really cool at the moment. Compliance, trainer to client accountability. So we're actually going to call you again, like we said, and make sure you're hitting your targets. If you're not training, we're going to be on your case about it. You have employed us to ensure that you get results. So we're going to make sure that we do just that. The next thing, really cool function of the app is there's actually the ability for you to log in and write in what it is that you're doing. So there's a patient-facing app or client-facing app. You will have your own login. You will see your program that we have personally prescribed to you. You will put in there what you do on the day that you do it, what weight, what reps, what sets, and it will feed all that information to us as your trainers and tell us what it is that you are and are not doing. There's no way of cheating. We will know because it will tell us. And if you put in the wrong things, we know this stuff because we've been doing it for years and it is very obvious to tell. The next one is obviously goal-orientated, customized, personalized, individually created for you. I didn't know any other words to put in there. I had to name them all because I'd seen this crap, excuse my French, come out there in the industry that says personalized when it's not personalized, or custom when it's not custom. They just get a generic program and they might do 1 or 2 tweaks. This is completely like seeing us in our clinic. I can't stress that point enough.
When it comes to our technique, all of the exercises that are listed that are in your specific program, they do have photos. They have a starting photo and a finishing photo of each of the exercises. But the more exciting thing around that is that if they're not going to work for the particular client that we're working with, if it's more on mobility, then we can actually make those photos individualized for the clients that we have. The second part of that is it doesn't necessarily have to be around photos. We also have videos as well. If we're doing more complicated movements, for example, like a Turkish get up or whatever it may be, instead of just having a before and an after photo of each of the exercises, we actually have a video log as well of how that exercise is performed, just to really focus on technique. It's one of the biggest points when it comes to it. At the end of the day, if we're not focusing on the technique side of it, then we get flare-ups, we get niggles, we get injuries, we lose our confidence, and that kind of deteriorates us getting our goals and our programs as well. The other side of that as well is we go through a detailed description of each of the exercises. Everyone's different. Everyone's different in how they understand how an exercise works, and more importantly, the cueing of how that exercise as well. And in the end, with that, the descriptions are all customized too. We do our video check-ins at the same time when it comes to all of our exercises. And the final big one around it is our progressions. And this comes back to what I was just discussing before around all of that data analysis. But that data analysis we actually do just not on that bigger level when it comes to what results we're getting with all of our clients, but the data around objectively how you're performing each of the exercises. What is the starting weight when you're doing a particular movement to what is that weight after the 6 weeks? How has that progressed? And how does that actually look when you're actually looking at it from a graph perspective as well? Okay, so the progression is actually something that you can see to see how you're performing from when you first started with us, to seeing what areas are improving on, what areas are not so much, and then how we actually then specifically change that program to work on those areas as well. And that's pretty cool because it kind of keeps you motivated and keeps you pumped at the same time.
The really exciting part about all of this kind of stuff, apart from the fact that we're able to bring to you what we've been doing in clinic for very, 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 very long time and breaking apart and tearing apart and making perfect, is that we're actually sharing with you one of the things that Matt was talking about earlier in terms of the problem. And that's accountability. So the ability to be able to see and everything that it is that you're doing at home via the use of this app gives us an incredible amount of power that we haven't been able to have actually until this moment. So you have essentially been able to go away and do whatever you need to do at home, and we didn't actually know what was going on. Now that has actually changed, which is super exciting and enables us then to share with you the accountability for the results that you're looking to grab. So pretty much that's the crux of tonight. We're now going to move over to, geez, you've got 100,000 questions there. That's awesome. All right. So we're going to pick, you got to pick your favorite 5.
I've got to limit it to 5.
Yeah.
All right, I've got a good one here.
Awesome.
How do I get a personalized session and do I get follow-ups?
Nice one.
Definitely yes to both of those. The best thing you can do, get in contact with us, give us contact name, contact number, or email address, both better suited. Our team, our admin team and myself will be in contact with you, and we can organize an appointment from there. Basically just to organize an initial appointment, but again, either do it by telephone, Zoom, Skype, FaceTime, and we can basically progress your program from there.
So just to kind of reiterate on that, the best way to get in contact with us is whatever way that you have actually found us. So Sam actually is on the back end of every single platform that we own. So whether it be by email, by messaging us on Facebook, straight Facebook Messenger, Instagram message, email, website,
whatever's more comfortable for you.
Get on to us. We've actually got, I sound like a salesman here. I've even got the voice for it, right? It's killing me. But we've actually got a bit of a kind of opening deal at the moment for the first 50 people to sign up to the safe space. Atkins Health Safe Space. We're basically saying, come in, join, be a part of us, try us out. We are that freaking confident in what it is that we're doing and that you're going to love it, that you don't actually have to sign up until you've had your first consult and we've had that huge discussion with one of us to ensure that you're comfortable with what it is that we're delivering and we're comfortable with how it is that you're going to give us all the information and how we're going to form that relationship and partnership.
Cool.
Got a really good question here from Emma Norton. Hey legends, what is your opinion on how students like myself can get the most out of these circumstances and stay motivated to finish their degree and get a job?
Wow, that is such an awesome question, Emma.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So the big one that I'd be saying, Emma, around that is actually basically getting that contact with one of our practitioners and one of our team members. And you're going to have a lot of those exercises that you're currently comfortable doing, but push that boundary, because coming into this occupation is that you're going to have clients that, you know, have that passion around powerlifting, weightlifting, or more calisthenic movements, yoga and meditation. And whatever style of exercise that you haven't done before or not that comfortable with, that's how we'll program it. And that's how it'll be more beneficial for yourself as well. Being able to experience and expose yourself to different exercises, because it makes you a confident practitioner overall.
The honest truth from my perspective on also the profession, for those who are students out there looking to kind of break into this industry in this kind of daunting time, is the honest to God truth is that I believe this is actually an incredibly exciting time for us right now. We've got incredible amounts of opportunities presenting themselves. We're having to pivot and change as a company to be able to connect with our clients in different forms that maybe other people haven't kind of thought about before. Again, I don't want to brag or anything, but we've been thinking about this. As I said, this app has been developed for a very long time and we've been onto this for a very long time. But for others, the industry as a total, it's having to be innovative and actually breaking the mold, which is causing innovation, which I'm actually incredibly excited about. So the honest truth is I believe that this is a very exciting time to be a student coming out into the industry. Yeah. I think that it's going to require you to think outside the box a little bit more. But the great thing is that it's a start afresh. And again, in what do they say? In adversity kind of brings out, what do they?
With the best in people.
Yeah, you know, like you see people's true colors, right? So make sure your color shines.
Yeah, one thing I just lastly with that is that at the end of the day right now, this is like one of the biggest barriers or hurdles that anyone could come across, you know, and we're super proud because we've been able to adapt to that and make that work so positively for all of our team and for all of our clients as well. So being exposed to this as a student right now, like there's nothing going to be stopping you to be able to perform and grow in this profession as well.
The questions that we could keep talking about for ages. Yeah. The last thing I just want to say on that though, because I can talk underwater, is that if you have a look at the government and think about what the government is saying at this point in time, right? We're getting a lot of questions around this, but the truth of the matter is that in every single state, they're actually saying that exercising and physical activity is a necessity.
Hasn't been a better promoter for exercise.
Yeah. So really, honestly, it's the craziest thing ever. Finally, the freaking government is starting to talk about what it is that we do. So yeah, I think it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
All right. What's the best type of exercise or training program to suit someone that suffers chronic stomach pain?
Wow. Very interesting.
Very specific.
Yeah, you're throwing it to us. I love it. So again, it's one of those things that is really, again, very specific. So I'm going to give you a bit of a wishy-washy answer to that one. And the reason it's wishy-washy is because I would love to be able to get on the phone to this person and have a conversation with that person right now for you hearing. That could be a cool thing to introduce in our next Facebook Live. But without certain information, it's very difficult to give it an exact answer. The truth of the matter is, though, is that the honest truth is you can get, basically exercise, right, is a movement made difficult. All right, you've taken me down my favorite spiel. So basically exercise is a movement made difficult. And what it is that we're trying to do is create or exhibit a change in our body by putting it under a certain stress. Okay, so what it is when we go for a really long run and we are trying to get fitter, basically we're trying to affect our cardiorespiratory system and make it very difficult for that to deliver the energy around the body, etc., etc. When we come to a gym, we're trying to make that movement difficult by adding weight, so it's hard to perform. Okay, so the answer to, and again, I said it's wishy-washy, but the answer to your question is actually to investigate and experiment to some degree around what it is movement-wise that you can perform that creates a discomfort in the muscle that we are trying to create the discomfort. And when I say discomfort, I'm talking about stress and strain. I'm not talking about injury or pain, right? Very, very different. That doesn't upset your tummy. Again, very logical answer. And there's certain things that are going to make it harder or worse. Things like intra-abdominal pressure, but I'm sure you're wanting to jump in on that.
Yeah, so the other aspect that I would add, apart from what Toby's just mentioning there, is that if you're mentioning right now from this question that it is chronic, I'm assuming it's either over a 3 to 6 month period that this pain has been going on
Possibly
for as well, possibly even
yeah.
longer, obviously. At the end of the day, there's going to be certain movements, certain foods that you eat that flare that up, and it could commonly be involved with stress and all that too. And again, this is a very subjective answer because it depends on the client and that as well. But when it comes to what's aggravating that, what aggravating factors that are there, if we can utilize different exercises, so for example, it could be some leg exercises. So focus that neural drive from the brain away from that area to the legs. From a chronic pain side of it, it can actually help reduce that overall as well. It's a very generalized answer, but when it comes to that chronic pain, chronic stomach pain, which is quite specific, that's probably the best thing to do. The best thing, again, I'm more than happy to have a chat about that in more detail privately too.
Yeah, that person should probably kind of talk to us. And this is not a sell or by any means, but we'd love to give you a more specific answer. So
sure,
hit us up and we'll try and help you.
Are your services covered by health funds?
Great question. They're very, very, very simple and very happily to answer. Answer to that is yes. We're covered by pretty much everything you can poke a stick at. So we're covered by Medicare, we're covered by Veterans Affairs, we're covered by NDIS. We're actually covered by private health insurers as well. And that obviously depends on the company you're with and the cover you've got. But the great news is that all of those, and the only one that we're waiting on to get over to telehealth, which is essentially just a fancy way of the medical world saying health or help over phone or video conference, which is essentially what we're talking about here. But places like Bupa to actually label out have come on board and said that they're more than willing to actually cover telehealth consults as well. So I think all the rest will come in time. So happily to answer yes.
Yeah.
Okay, one more question, and then I've got one little mini cracker question to finish off with.
Gotta love them.
What is the best exercises to do at home to lose weight? It's hard being stuck at home with the current COVID situation.
Biggest thing around it, I like to look at it nice and simple around calories in versus calories out. You can't look at it from like crunches around losing that weight around the hips and around the waist. It's just coming simply around the amount of activity that you're doing throughout the day. And it comes down to one big thing here, is that consistency here as well. Is that having that specific program for you, being at home, is having that accountability to go, okay, cool, I need to be training X, Y, and Z amount of days a week. Okay, and having in that program a combination of some cardiovascular, so some walking, if it may be, some strengthening exercises, upper, lower body strength, a combination of some core exercises and some balance exercises as well. When it comes to improving your body composition from a generalized factor, you want to try and create as much variety around that exercise as possible, but then having it being done, conducted consistently, and having a look at the other lifestyle factors that you're doing as well. Are you active throughout the day? Throughout the day outside of that? Are you doing chores around the house, gardening outside as well? But more importantly, on the other aspect of that is also having a look at what you're eating at the same time.
So it's one of my favorite actual questions, and it's weird because a lot of people kind of get bored by the whole weight loss question, but I love it because it's so topical. I also get myself into a fair few different disagreements and fights around it, which I love, don't get me wrong, because I love to be challenged. But agreeing with Matt, to give you the answer that you're probably chasing and looking for, It is quite logical. The more muscle mass you use, the more calories it's going to cost to move those muscle masses, and obviously, therefore, the more calories out you're getting from that workout. So the more you can move, the more money, energy you're expending. But the honest truth in that answer is that my belief is that you exercise probably for about 30 minutes to an hour, maybe an hour 15 if you're one of those crazy people. But that is nothing when compared to the probably 16 hours that you're awake for, right? So bringing back to what Matt said in regards to having a look at those other lifestyle factors, my biggest trick for around weight loss is actually having a step counter on you. And this is the worst time, as you've mentioned in the question, to try and lose weight or get weight off you. And that is because you're confined by those four walls, whether they be your actual garden or whatever. But if you have a reminder set on your phone to get your bum up and get moving, no matter what the hell it is, it's going to be better than sitting at home. So move as much as you can, and when you move, use as much muscle mass as you can, and you're probably on the right path.
Yeah, big time.
From a movement perspective, obviously you've got diet to consider as well.
Same thing, happy to have a chat more specifically.
One last little question. How often are you going to do live chats?
Oh, I like that. I like that. Great question. I've actually, this is actually our first live chat ever, which I'm actually really excited to kind of share with you guys. We actually present a hell of a lot on here on the Gold Coast at universities, at conferences, within our certain clinics, to visiting national and international groups. But it's our first time actually to do it online, which has been really cool. Hopefully you guys have thought it was successful.
Let us know.
Yeah,
Give
please give us feedback.
We won't cry in front of you.
Just behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But we've enjoyed it, I think. Have we enjoyed it?
I think it's been great.
I've loved it.
Yeah, it definitely won't be our last one. I think right now we're in the middle of planning it all. Look, I'm gonna just say something right now, and I can go at least once a month. We're gonna be doing it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I reckon at least one. Yeah, I'm happy to commit to that, and we'll probably be convinced to maybe even doing it more. But let's go with that.
Yeah. Sweet.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thanks very much, guys. I hope you enjoyed tonight. We certainly have. And again, it looks like we'll see you at the very latest in 1 month's time. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Thank you. Exit.
We're probably still on.